Hello everyone, welcome back to YK Reviews, and with today's video, as you see in the title, we're talking about the latest MCU project, Secret Invasions, talking about whether it's been another MCU disappointment or whether it's actually exciting and worth your time. So let's get straight into it here. So if you are new to the channel and you do like these types of videos, you like weekly entertainment news videos, tier ranking videos, I do plenty of those on the channel here. And if you are new and you like these kind of contents, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so that you're always in the know, you're always in the loop, you don't miss out on whenever I do post. And also hit the like video just to show me that you are enjoying these types of content. So now when it comes to like Secret Invasion, the latest MCU project, the latest Disney Plus Marvel show, another 6-episode run with the runtime getting shorter and shorter. But is it honestly worth your time? Is it a step in the right direction, or is it just another flat Disney Plus Marvel show? I am going to put timestamps in the description down below of like each little sub-genre of like what we're going to talk about when it comes to Secret Invasion. So if there's anything that you're more interested in hearing about, anything you're more invested in, the timestamps will be in the description down below. So don't be shy about skipping through chapters or anything like that. No judgment here. All the timestamps will be in the description down below. But for the first thing I do want to talk about when it comes to Secret Invasions is the actual plot of it. So in the comics, and they've actually even confirmed this during the run of the show, is that they never read the comics when they made this show. However, with the comic books, you have the big Secret Invasion storyline where you've got Skrulls taking over certain Avengers, and you've got this big sequence of battle between the Avengers and the Skrulls. So with this one, it sort of takes on a different element when it comes to the Skrull invasion, where you've got these Skrulls who basically, if you haven't seen Captain Marvel, where these Skrulls have lost their home world, Nick Fury has told them that they're going to go try to find a different planet for them to live on. So from the 90s all the way till now, they've been looking for a planet. So these Skrulls have gotten impatient and they've started infiltrating government from UK, the US, Russia, all sorts of like places around the world. And slowly, they're going to try to inflict World War III so that the humans wipe each other out because they want to take over the Earth. So the plot in itself has got great potential because you're spending the whole time thinking, who is a Skrull, who is a human, who is a spy? Even the cold opening, the opening sequence when you've got Everett Ross coming to find out that he's actually a Skrull. I really liked that opening sequence. I really enjoyed that. I really liked where they were going with when it comes to the actual spy aspect, the espionage, the who is the Skrull, questioning people, going back to even like previous projects and like checking people's like movements, checking people's like facial expressions to see if they have bad intentions or good intentions. I really enjoyed that sort of aspect to it. But the actual plot in itself sort of just like dwindled as the show went on, because the aspect of Gravik wanting to have the humans annihilate each other, cause World War III, that was sort of done but wasn't as impactful as it could have been, because like most of the episodes are pretty dialogue heavy. You don't have a lot of action sequences because like most of it, especially like the first episode started off so strong when you have Maria Hill and Talos calling Nick Fury to come down from his space station, them taking a lead on Gravik and then having Gravik kill Maria Hill, which I honestly still to this day am disappointed with that death, because even now after the show it sort of confirms that Maria Hill is dead. So like they bring her back for one episode just to have her killed off. I just thought it was such a letdown and just a really crappy way to like have her killed. But you've got like a really strong solid opening with Gravik and his abilities and like what he can do, to then slowly as the show is progressing having them turn Russia and the US against each other. It was sort of done with that, but like most of this episode sort of just felt a little flat, like it wasn't going full strong, going full Secret Invasion. Little like hints in there of like action sequences and like Super Skrull program, but nothing really like explored more or like big impactful like sequences there. And if you even think about it, for most of the episodes, like 50% of the episodes I would say is that you had somebody dying at the end. So the first episode you had Maria Hill dying. I believe it was the third episode you had Gaia dying. The fourth episode you had Talos dying. So like there was always like one death at the end of like the episode. There was no time to like flesh out things, no emotional weight to things. And especially with like the Gaia death, I don't think anybody believed that Gaia did actually die. I think everybody knew that she was going to come back to life. But just like the whole plot from based on like what you had from Secret Invasions in the comic books, like the Skrull invasions from the comics to here, kind of just felt really flat. And then we move on to like the whole sequence with like Fury and Talos. That's the one positive I will give. I really enjoyed the writing for like Nick Fury's character here, especially because of the impact that had from like the blip to then coming back, and like the impact it had and the weight of it, especially with like Iron Man's death and the battle of Endgame with Thanos. I really like the writing for Nick Fury. We got to learn a little bit about, especially his like backstory with his mom and growing up, and like how he came to power using like these Skrulls to help him climb up the corporate ladder with S.H.I.E.L.D., and how he got so powerful. So we got to learn like a lot about Nick Fury, and then we also like dived into his relationship with Talos. Talos in itself, I just felt like, again, really enjoyed his sequences here, really enjoyed like his scenes, but just for him to be killed off in like episode 4, to have it more of like an emotional impact to like Nick Fury, but it just felt kind of, I don't know what the word is, I just feel like it could have done a bit more when it comes to like Talos, and not have him killed off so early on. That I just don't feel like they needed to like kill Maria Hill and then kill Talos. All the connections to Nick Fury, I just hated that. But the writing between Fury, and even like the relationship between Fury and Talos, where you see like how Talos has been helping Fury but no complaints from that, Fury not really like sympathetic with Talos. I really enjoyed the sequences with that. That's the one good thing about this show, where it's got that emotional weight between Fury and Talos, and how they're working together and how their friendship has developed throughout the years. And even right up to like the mission where they are working together and everything, it was just that one was really well balanced. The Fury Talos situation, and that particular scene of like the train sequence where they're like talking, Fury's telling him about his mother and the game that they would be playing. I really liked that sequence there. So Fury and Talos, that relationship, Nick Fury's writing and story arc and character development for the show, where he's just being labeled as somebody that's just past it. He's an old man, he can't just get into the fight. So that writing, and then that episode 5, where he like gets his eye patch back, gets his hat, gets his leather coat. So I really did enjoy the writing when it comes to like Fury. And we also got to explore as well like his backstory, where he has actually a wife here, a Skrull wife, but we got to like see their relationship develop. We got to see a little bit of like past history with them, and like how they met, how they developed that relationship, and even you got to see a little bit of what Fury's life is like as like a husband and wife, as he is at one point. Fury's wife also talked about how the house is being built with like the windows and the glass, just because Fury likes the light. She watches him read books in like the window. They developed that relationship. We got to see that kind of side to Fury, which I really liked. Fury's wife too, I just really enjoyed that writing. I wish we got to see more of her, because realistically she was only in like one particular action sequence. She was only in like in one scene where she was like fighting for her life, and it was that scene with Gaia and her just shooting these Skrulls as they were coming to kill her. But other than that, she could have been like more impactful to the storyline, because after that sequence she sort of just like picked up the phone with Fury, had that conversation, and then was sort of just left out of the episode pretty much. So I feel like her writing could have been done a lot more. But there was that one scene where Fury and his wife were in that table, and they talk about killing each other off, but they have like a really nice conversation beforehand, and then they shoot each other, but they both miss on purpose. That was just like, that scene was really well written. I have to give props to that. It was a really well written scene. But overall, I wish she was used more, because then you got to see her at the end where Fury and her go to like the space station together. So my guess is that she might be appearing in the Marvels movie later on this year, since she's in like that space station now. But Olivia Colman's character, I really enjoyed her character. She was like a breath of fresh air, with like her wit, her lines, her delivery, so maniacal with like what she was doing, no remorse, cutting off that finger of like that Skrull, interrogating people, the way she like escaped through like the floor. Like, she was a really great character. And then her, I thought she was going to be like a villain in the show itself, but then you've got that tie-in with her and Fury working together, that final episode where her and Fury take out all the guards to save the president. I thought was really well done, and just excellent writing with her. So her character I really found enjoyable. But then the real question is like, when are we going to see her next? Because even like the final episode, you see her recruiting Gaia, but then you don't know when the next time we'll be seeing her. So then let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Let's talk about Rhodey, because everybody was suspecting he was a Skrull. The suspicions was really well obvious. Like, the signs were there, especially when he called Fury Nick. Later on, when Fury told this other Skrull, like, nobody calls him Nick. So you kind of knew that Rhodey was a Skrull. And Rhodey's character too, just like all of a sudden that turn of how like malicious he is. The scenes with him and Fury, like that back and forth, that confrontation. I feel like it was well handled and well done. But with him being confirmed as a Skrull, the big question that we all wanted answered was, when did he become a Skrull? Now, they didn't really answer that question, but a lot of theories going around based on like the final episode with the real Rhodey being in the gown, a hospital gown. Last time he was in a hospital gown, he was after Civil War when he got damaged in battle. So the theory going around is that he's been a Skrull since Civil War. So basically phase 3, all of phase 3, he's been a Skrull. To be completely honest with you, I really hope that's not the case, because there's been theories as well about like, oh, how come he was bleeding red in the battle in like the Avengers Infinity War Endgame, he was bleeding red. The theory is going around is that even like when Olivia Colman's character was cutting off that Skrull's finger, it was bleeding red, so that could be the reason for it. However, I just really hope that's not the case, that Rhodey is a Skrull from Civil War, because it just sort of takes the impact away from Endgame with Tony Stark's death, having his best friend die. Even like if you think about Endgame 2, when you've got him pretending to like kill Thanos as a baby, you've got him in Infinity War and joking about how to bow in front of Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther. It doesn't really add up. It wouldn't make sense to why like he would be making those kind of lines, especially. And also, again, the fact that the funeral of Tony Stark, him being there, it just, I don't know, I really am hoping that it's not the case. And my theory, and it could just be like a wild theory, is that he was abducted after Endgame. So because he had to go for like a regular checkup, just to go check on his legs, just to see how everything is doing, when he was in the hospital, that's when he got kidnapped, and that's when he became a Skrull. That's my theory, and I know it's an outlandish theory, and I don't think it is true, but it just makes it more impactful rather than him being a Skrull since Civil War, basically, because it sort of just takes a lot of things away when it comes to like the phase 3 movies. But the frustrating thing is that this wasn't really cleared up. It was just sort of left to like your theories, your imagination, your running guesses of like when it could have been. So we won't find out maybe until like Armor Wars, when the storyline is going to be about how he has been abducted and he wants to catch up on everything, how all Stark's technology has gone to like the wrong hands and that kind of stuff. So that sort of like makes me a little bit less excited too when it comes to Armor Wars. So I really hope like they redeem it, they give us a better explanation when it comes to like Rhodey and like when he became a Skrull, so that we can just get like better understanding. But for that, it kind of just like left me a little bit disappointed. And then when it comes to Gravik and Gaia, like the Skrulls, Gravik honestly was a really well written character. I really enjoyed Gravik, and I really was happy with how like he was written and how diabolical his demeanor, even in the finale too, when he was like talking about Fury and his first kill and why he took that face. Honestly, it was just perfectly written. The actor that played Gravik, really well done. He was in the Barbie movie, so it's just like really entertaining to see how he goes from like an evil villain to just like some wacky Ken in the Barbie movie. So like the finale, I just kept like picturing the two of them and like the characters there. But when it comes to him and like you see his like reasoning as to why he wants World War 3, why he wants this planet, because it's been so long since he's been on Earth, and even like the writing too of like how Fury wasn't able to find a planet, I just find very odd, because you have millions of planets out there, like you've got so many universes out there, they've established that there's not a single habitable planet for the Skrulls. I feel like that's like a cheap way out. And so Gravik's like intentions is understandable, because like he doesn't want to keep waiting. Fury has let him down, so his intentions and what he wants to do is pretty understandable. And like the way he was written was well done. So when he became a Super Skrull in that final battle with him and Gaia, that I feel like was sort of also a letdown, because when you've got Gaia's character, she was sort of written in the show to sort of be maybe like the next right hand man to Fury. However, she wasn't really developed that much. Her character wasn't really in the show as much as it could have been for her to be what she is now, which is the most powerful character in the MCU right now. She's got all the powers that all the Avengers have, and while that final battle was pretty entertaining to watch, having her go all Carol Danvers on Gravik, you see the Mantis's power, Drax's power, you see Ebony Moore's power, like you see all these like powers that they are going through, like fighting with one another. I just feel like it was cut short. Like the pacing and the final battle was pretty short. And then it sort of begs the question too, is that like Gaia was killing off Gravik with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel's powers. So it begs the question as to why Fury just couldn't call Carol Danvers to come and help him with this whole secret invasion situation. Gaia is now the most powerful character in the MCU with all the Avengers powers, and we just don't know when we're going to see her again. Like I said, the final sequence of her with Olivia Colman's character being recruited, but you just don't know when she's going to be. Like, you would assume that she would have gone onto the space station with Fury, but no, she's just like wandering around, and we don't know when we're going to see her again. Like, the most powerful person now in the MCU, we don't know when she's going to be available or when we're going to see her in the next project. And it was just like so badly written when it comes to that. It was just all this potential, all this lead up to just doing this just felt like really let down. And like, again, that final battle, as entertaining as it was, just felt like it was 2-3 minutes. It was a quick end battle final sequence, and then that was it. It really felt like rushed, and pacing wise was just all over the place. So let's actually talk about the finale in itself. Like, the finale was 30 minutes after the opening sequence, after the recap, and after the credits. It was roughly around 30 minutes. The first episode was around 45-50 minutes, I believe it was. And then you had the finale. After a 6-episode finale, it's 30 minutes. Like, I don't get that. I really don't understand why you go for a 30-minute finale with everything just being jam-packed. Like, you have the president trying to call off the nuclear strikes, and you've got Rhodey, you've got Gaia, Gravik, Fury. Like, you've got all these like sequences to implement, but yet none of that was done properly. And even in the finale too, when you've got the president realizing that Rhodey has been a Skrull, declaring all-out war on all the Skrulls, that was just sort of implemented within the last like 2 minutes of the show. So you've got the president going on a complete U-turn, delivering this speech within like the last 2 minutes of the show. This could have been set up middle of the season, where the president realizes that the Skrulls are out there, implementing that. Because so I'm guessing this is going to move into like the Dark Reign territory, where, because even Fury at one point goes to the president, this sounds like a one-term type of thing, so that's probably where Thunderbolt Ross is going to become president in Captain America movie. But the vigilantism, all that kind of stuff, just sets up everything for future projects, but it wasn't really fleshed out or written really well. And that's been the problem, is that every project is a setup for the next project, but yet it's not fleshed out or really done well. So you've got the finale with all of this in a 30-minute gap, 6 episodes with runtimes being really, really shortened every time a new episode comes out. And then you have no post-credit scene or anything like that, so nothing is really answered, because you've got Fury and his wife going to the space station, you've got Olivia Colman and Gaia doing their own thing, you've got the president declaring all-out war on the Skrulls, you've got Rhodey and Everett Ross returning and stuff like that. So nothing was really answered. So the finale just felt like a little bit disappointing. And even like on Rotten Tomatoes, well, last time I checked, I believe it was sitting at like 13% or 16% for that particular episode. So again, another just like brilliant start to the show, only for it to just fall flat, average, middle, disappointing finale. So in terms of like MCU, like the problem with the MCU right now is that you've got phase 4, which was a very hit and miss phase. These Disney Plus shows have the same formula of, again, strong opening episode, teetering in the middle, and then a disappointing flat finale. Like, the main issue, especially when it comes to like these Disney Plus shows, is that you have them at 6 episodes with 30 to 40 minutes for each episode. The finale feels very rushed. The pacing is completely all over the place, and you just don't know when you're gonna see these characters next, and you just don't have all your questions answered. Like, I miss the days of like Captain America First Avenger, Thor, Iron Man 1, like where you just have these standalone movies and projects where you have a post-credit scene that can set up the next project, but these standalone projects. This is the issue with the MCU right now, is that everything is a setup to the next project. Ant-Man, Quantumania, Secret Invasions, and even when it comes to like the actual Secret Invasion subplot, it just feels like really let down when it comes to like you're comparing it to the comics. Like, it wasn't really a Secret Invasion vibe to it. Like, you couldn't get any Avengers appearing, not even a post-credit scene or anything like that. Rumors about Quake from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. appearing, none of that took place. No big full impact when it comes to the Skrulls versus like the humans, or the Skrulls versus the Avengers. It was sort of just Gaia versus Gravik, and even that battle was sort of 3 minutes to 4 minutes long, so nothing really impactful when it comes to that. So I just feel like the potential of a Secret Invasion should have been done where it's like, if you're going to make it a show, make it a 9-episode, hour-long shows, or have it like a full-blown 2-part movie or something like that. But with this, it just felt like another letdown with Marvel. I just don't know what they're leading up to or what they're doing right now, and that's just like an issue with it. Like, I believe everybody's got that thought from what I've seen, is that these Disney Plus shows just are not working. 6 episodes isn't enough. 30 minutes for a 6-episode show just is not enough, and these setups just don't work well. So for me, when it comes to like Secret Invasions, if you're looking at it as a disappointing show or an exciting MCU is kind of back sort of thing, I'm leaning towards disappointing. Like, I was really let down with the show overall. I really wanted to like it. I was super pumped. I really enjoyed like how it wasn't too comedy or too lighthearted. It was this dark spy espionage thriller type of show. But altogether, in the end, it just felt completely flat. And honestly, for me, like, I don't see myself going to like rewatch the show. I just don't have that desire to go and rewatch the show. The last great show for me, in my personal opinion, was Hawkeye. Like, Hawkeye, despite its flaws, I had a fun time with it just because of, I'm guessing, nostalgia for me personally, seeing Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. And I really liked the Kate Bishop Hawkeye dynamic. And from there, it was like low-key as like one of the top tier MCU shows. But a lot of them, I just don't go back and want to rewatch these shows. And that's the problem with the MCU right now. Bob Iger did mention about how he wants to reduce the amount of quantity coming out for the MCU and Star Wars. And I do hope that is the case, because I feel like when it comes to like Disney Plus shows, Marvel related Disney Plus shows, I feel like maximum 2 per year. And even then with that, have one starting in March, have it a 9-episode, 40-hour long show in March, and then the next one have it in November, so you have that time to flesh out everything. And even like movie projects too, have like 2-3 movies, so that altogether it's maximum 5 projects per year. But when you're doing these projects, not have it where it's a homework for people, because nobody's going to have that time. Because, for example, you've got the Marvels movie coming out later on this year, potentially, still up in the air, but let's say it's going to come out in November. For you to understand fully and grasp fully what's going on with the Marvels movie, you're going to need to watch the first Captain Marvel movie, you're going to need to watch WandaVision, you're going to need to watch the Miss Marvel show, you're going to need to watch Secret Invasion. So that's 4 projects. I might be missing one out off the top of my head, but that's 4 projects that you need to watch. That's 1 movie and 3 Disney Plus shows that you need to watch in order to understand and grasp what's going on with the upcoming Marvels movie. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do homework to watch the next project, and that's the problem with the MCU right now. So I'm really hoping that they do just reevaluate the formula, change a couple of things up, because it really does need to be changed. But that's my thought when it comes to Secret Invasion. Another like strong start, strong opening to like another flat finale. I'm left disappointed here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What your thoughts are about the finale, what your thoughts are about the Secret Invasion show and Marvel in general. Let me know in the comment section down below. And once again, if you do like this content, consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on whenever I do post. And I have got a Twitter, link is in the description down below, so if you want to go ahead, follow me there. That way you know whenever I do post. But that's my thoughts on the Secret Invasions here. Keep an eye on the channel. There's going to be the weekly entertainment news video coming out in the next couple of days. And with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie coming out in the next week or so, I'm planning on doing reviews for all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from like the 90s all the way up until now. So keep an eye out on the channel if you are excited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on all those upcoming reviews. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening. This is YK Reviews. Peace.